Okay, so first thing is I want to trim down all of this excess here. Let's see. I feel like I might want to bring this in a little bit farther. No, that should be okay, actually. All right, so I'm just going to trim all of this down. And then now what we're going to do is put the exterior inside of this interior piece. And it's going to be a tight fit, but we'll get it done. And what I like to do is just fold this flat back out of the way and just shove her on in there. Make sure your hardware is down, so that way we have an easier time top stitching, or stitching this together. And so I'm just gonna immediately start meeting my seams and pinning it into, or clipping it into place, because the longer this cork is all bent up, the more likelihood it has to show it. So I just want to kind of move quickly here if possible, especially because this flap is all bent. I have had some success with ironing the cork after construction if it's really creased up with, or I iron it from the inside out. So like, you know, I iron the lining. And a lot of times that helps, that low heat helps to reset the cork. All right, this looks like this might have some issues here. My sides aren't exactly meeting up, which is annoying. So when this happens, what I like to do is just flip everything the other way and try it from that side. So I'll try sinking the lining into the exterior and see if that makes it fit a little better. Oh, maybe this is how I do this. God, it's been so long since I've made one of these. Okay, so flip this guy out. Okay, fold this flap down. All right, let's try this again. Yeah, see, my seams are meeting up much nicer with it like this. That's a good sign. Okay, perfect. So now I'm just gonna pop back over to the machine and we're gonna stitch this. I'm gonna use a 1/4 inch seam allowance all around the top. I like to start on the back on this, just in case there is any issues, I can ease the excess in along the back instead of the front panel. All right, so we're just gonna trim this down. I'm not gonna trim it too small. Just over 1/8 or so. I want to be able to have a nice or enough area to whenever I flip this and top stitch that I have a nice little area to sew on top of. I don't want to be sewing next to that seam. Ooh, this is a really tight birthing hole. Goodness. I might have to go loosen this up. Yeah, I'm not even gonna fight this. I'm gonna go make this, oh gosh, that's gonna be hard. All right, I am gonna try to fight it. Let's see how this goes. Ooh, all right. God, I can barely get my hand in there. It's crazy. Okay, so just reach in, straighten everything out. So you can see where the cork, it got this like, I'm not sure if the camera picks that up, but it has like this wrinkly area. So when I'm ironing later, I will just be really aware of that and try to add some extra steam. I'll spray water inside the bag and iron it from the inside, and hopefully that steam will loosen this cork back up. Okay, so now the trick is, what I was able to do last time I made the dolly is I was able to just turn it, and with glue and tape, I was able to get a nice clean edge through here. And then I tucked it and it was perfect. You couldn't tell at all. And then I was able to avoid putting that stitch line at the bottom. So that's what I'm gonna try to do this time as well. And if not, then what we'll do is we'll just close this up the traditional way by sewing it. But first I want to see, before I spend too much time doing that, I want to see how it lays, because if it doesn't lay nicely, I'm going to flip it back out and tighten up my seam allowances on the lining. Because that to me is super important, is having a nice fitting lining. I'm just going to roll these seams and add some clips. If you roll them through your fingers, it'll get that stitch line up to the very top. Just kind of smoothing everything on the inside, pressing my seams into each other. So if I can get this back area to lay nicely, that'll be a nice lining. It's not baggy or saggy. And if I can just get this back section back here to tuck nicely, I can leave it like that. So I'm gonna go to the machine, I'm gonna top stitch this, and then I'll work on finagling that area. All right, so we've got it nice top stitched at the top, obviously. And so what I did off camera is I just kind of, again, pushed down my lining and just manipulated it to where everything was laid really nicely in here. And so as you can see, it's a nice, crisp inside. There's no sagginess. And if you can tell, I can't tell, I don't know what you can see, but if you look down there, you can see where I laid my two pieces together. They haven't been glued or anything. You can see there's like the opening. That's what would be the stitch line, but I think that I'm gonna just do the glue method. The reason I'm comfortable doing this method where it's not actually closed with thread is because it's just the inside of the bag and it's laid flush against the outside of the bag, and somebody would have to literally pull the bag up for anything to even happen. And this glue is permanent if, you know, it's not like super messed with. Like somebody would have to physically pull it apart for it to come apart. So I'm just gonna add glue down there at the bottom. But so the way that I did this is whenever I first put the lining back into the bag, it was kind of a mess. And what I did is I pulled the bottom, I pulled the gusset away from the back, this back piece, and with my hand, like smoothed all of the fabric out down in here and tucked it, essentially, just tucked this whole back piece down, got that nice and smooth. And then what I did is I gently folded the gusset to where it would lay nicely and then push it into place. And I really don't think it's that noticeable. I think it actually looks really good. I think it looks better than when you have an open exposed seam. So I'm gonna glue that down, but I just thought that I would show you what the bag looks like right now. So we've got our little back pocket here. It's so cute. Okay, so I don't know how good of a video section this is gonna be for you all because you're not gonna be able to see in here. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull this gusset part up. Again, I don't know if you can tell, but I've got the gusset folded down in here like that. And what I'm gonna do is just add glue on that gusset piece, a nice healthy amount of glue, and then I'm gonna lay everything back down and out of the way again. And then hopefully it works just like it did last time. And honestly, whenever this bag is full of stuff, it's just gonna constantly have pressure on that seam. So I don't know. I think it's gonna be totally fine. And so, like I said before, if you are not comfortable doing this, you don't have to. You could do a traditional sewn seam. I'm also just adding glue kind of like behind the fabric in general. So then when I do lay everything back down and get everything nice and settled in, the actual glue on the gusset is, or the gusset is actually going to be glued down to the exterior gusset too. Okay, I think I got enough glue. And now I'm just going to carefully, with my fingers, tuck everything back into place, my seams touching each other. This bag is just so little, you can't see anything. See, it needs a little bit more smoothing. There we go, and that's what it looks like. So I'm just going to let that glue dry and just leave this bag alone. And the last thing that we need to do before finishing it off is just make the strap. So I'm just gonna move that out of the way. and gather my strap piece. Okay, so I went ahead and gathered my straps. I did go ahead and piece mine together. I butterflied this bottom section open so that whenever I'm folding it, it lays nicer. And then this top piece, I did not butterfly that, only because I didn't want the stitches there, but you can do that if you want to. It definitely makes it a little bit easier whenever you're pinning. And then, so the only other thing is I need to edge coat this piece here, because these straps 100% will get the pill situation, the phrase, if you leave it unchecked. This process of edge coating these long edges, especially because it's a single layer of cork, is painstaking and it takes forever. But I feel like if people are paying $100 a bag, 100 plus, then I don't want it to fray. And I used to sell them like this all the time, undone or unglued, unfinished. But the problem is that people don't maintain the straps like they're supposed to. I have these really cool care cards, but nobody freaking reads them. Nobody does it. So every time I see people with the bags or wallets that I made that are unfinished on the edges, they just look like Sasquatches. So I figured it's worth the extra effort to just add the, the finishing edge here. Now the alternative, if you don't want to have to do that, is you can cut this top piece at 1.5 inches wide and then fold it in toward the center to create a strap that is the same width, so 3/4 inch, and then lay that on top of your 1 inch wide strap. Now that's only if you want the edges to be finished. The other alternative, which is totally fine, is just doing this and not even having a color accent. And what that'll do is it'll make a strap just like this. So it's super thin, but that raw edge is folded in here on the inside, and then that's what's on the inside of the bag, so that's not exposed. And that is that doesn't fray, just because it doesn't get rubbed on like this color accent. But we're already here now, and because this bag does have two-tone, I think that it would look really cute with the two-tone strap. So I'm going to go the extra mile here, and I'm gonna edge coat them. So here we go. I have this roller tool. I had some edge coat in there. I had base coat, and I had it in another bag trying to keep it moist so that it didn't dry out, but it still dried out. And then it got all gross, and I haven't been able to get it all. I let it dry. I tried to pick it all out, but I couldn't get it all. So it's kind of yucky down in there. But this roller edge tool is cool, but it, you can only really use it, with one color. And then you can only use it whenever you're doing a lot of pieces at once. And so I don't really do that. A lot of my colors are totally custom. So I found that the best way to use this tool is with base coat. I don't know how well it's gonna work because that little wheel, it's really jammed up in there, but we'll try it. So it's not rolling like it's supposed to. Yeah, see, it's not really applying it. What's supposed to happen is this little wheel is supposed to move. Yeah, that's definitely not working. Well, that's a bummer. All right, gotta do it the old-fashioned way. As you can see, adding the edge coat to the top strip of the crossbody strap takes forever. I sped that up 20 times. That's how fast I had to make that. It was still over 40 seconds of just me edge coating. And then, of course, yeah, after I sewed it and I was, what am I trying to say? Come on, Nicole. Okay, so the video, I was recording, attaching the strap to the bag, or at least I thought I was. Come to find out I wasn't. So I have several other bags on my channel that if you need to watch a strap attaching video, you can find that toward the end of any of my bags. So I have another Dolly bag tutorial, the mini box tote, crossbody strap. It's going to be any adjustable strap. So any of the bags that I make that are crossbody will have the adjustable strap, so you can just pop through. I'll link a video at the end. It'll pop up somewhere here. And if you fast forward to the end, you can watch how to attach the strap to the hardware. So either way, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you like this format with the shorter videos and chunking everything down a little bit more. Definitely makes the sew-along process a bit more palatable and not such a time commitment. So be sure to let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this breakdown. And if you have any other bags that you would like to see construction-wise, please let me know in the comments and I will be sure to make another sew-along. And yeah, we'll go from there. Anyways, I hope that you guys are having a wonderful, lovely day, evening, morning, wherever this video may find you. I hope that it is bringing you peace and just a little bit of comfort and whatever. I hope you're doing well, and I'll see you next time.